Hit that motherfucker.
Yeah.
No!
Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Keystone Film Review. We just saw Empire of Light, directed by Sam Mendes, written by Sam Mendes, starring Olivia Colman, Michael Ward, Colin Firth, the underappreciated Toby Jones, and several others. Tom Brooke is probably the next one I would list there. This, of course, is a film about a woman and a man in the 80s, the early 80s in England, as they work at a movie theater and encounter cultural changes and backlash of racism in England in the 80s.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. This was one of my most anticipated movies. Along with The Fabelmans, it is a love letter to cinema. Cinnamon buns. I don't know why I said that. But
Now I'm hungry. Great.
after I watched The Fabelmans, some of you may know I was slightly disappointed by The Fabelmans, and this was my last hope for a love letter to cinema to be something that I truly wanted it to be. And I still went in kind of not thinking it was going to be much, but I still really enjoyed it. It exceeded my expectations a little bit, not like exceedingly.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing for me, we both have experience working at movie theaters. I worked for a movie theater for 12 years. I left 5 years ago. He still works for a movie theater.
What year is it?
Right now?
That's right, the year is right now. Congratulations, you've made it.
Okay, I'm almost to 10 years, so I'm getting there. Holy shit.
Jesus Christ, time flies.
Yeah.
I started in 2005. You work in a slightly different capacity than I did. I did everything. I mean, you did ushering, but you did you do maintenance.
I had a lot
now.
of maintenance stuff.
Where I was a concessionist, usher, box office, manager, projectionist for 2 years before they switched to digital.
I helped concession. I never did any of the money stuff because I don't like money stuff.
So while I'm not like trying to one-up you. Right?
No, I was just getting the fucking story straight. You need
the
to know.
one-upping is that I was an actual projectionist.
Yes.
That is the thing I am proudest of in my film, movie theater career. But
I was just a little too late to that party.
Yeah.
They switched everything to digital at that point.
Barely just made it. 2 years before they started changing to digital. But this movie, the thing I loved most about it is the nostalgia it brought me, especially in the scenes in the break room where it's just people enjoying each other's presence. Obviously, like anywhere you work, you're going to dislike certain people. Yeah. But the thing that I liked most about working at the movie theater is it brought many people from different walks of life and made people become friends. I was friends with 50-year-olds when I was 16 because that's just the way you work together at the movies. You become pretty close.
We're all there for the same reason.
Same reason, and you're in tight quarters. Even unless you're an usher, but you still walk around with them as an usher. So the nostalgia for that made this movie really high for me on my list. But the main story, which is this woman struggling with mental illness, I think they say she's schizophrenic.
Yes.
And her relationship with this much younger black man who is dealing with racism in England in the 80s. That was a way more beautiful story than I thought it was going to be. It kind of took that whole having a relationship and friendship with people you normally wouldn't to a next, another level, and all surrounding this community of the movie theater, which I really loved.
Mm-hmm. I have some things to say about this movie, and I wanted Mike to take the reins from a little bit of the get-go.
Yeah.
There's this word being thrown around. He just used it a little bit right there. There's love letter is being thrown around a lot lately. I'm getting super tired of that. But this movie was definitely a love letter to A, cinema, B, working at a cinema. Mm-hmm. There's just so many themes that this has to it that it's such a small world, movie, but it's like such a bigger picture on so many different fronts. There's so many different themes to it, but it's still contained in like this small world, just this building and the people within it, which is really cool. So like you've got Olivia Colman, who's fighting schizophrenia and trying to be normal in like everyday life while going through that and taking medication for it, and how great her performance is with it is awesome, because she does this thing with her eyes and her teeth that just is like, holy shit. I'm a little scared right now.
She's a great actress.
She is fantastic. And then obviously you're fighting with Sam. I don't remember the actor's name. Or Steven, I'm sorry. Steven.
Yeah. Michael Ward is the actor's name.
And then you're Michael Ward's character, who's fighting racism in the 80s, while also seeing an older woman. There's so many different little connections, themes going on, that you could like dissect it in many different parts. And then the staff of the movie theater, which is really cool, because they got everybody down to a fucking T. There's,
yeah, they do.
So many different walks of life in this movie and people in it, and then the staff are literally all different. The projectionist, Toby Jones, he looks exactly like a fucking projectionist. Like if you pictured a projectionist, that's exactly what he'd look like. He's like, I fucking hate everything, but film, I love it. Don't fucking touch that right there. He doesn't talk like a New Yorker.
British.
He's British. But projectionists have this super deep passion for what they do. Yeah. And they love movies. They're sitting up there making them, putting them together, and then obviously watching them. But this is probably I haven't seen that many Toby Jones movies. But like usually he's kind of typecasted as like this German little officer or something like that. Yeah. So like this was kind of one of my favorites, because like it showed how much he was enjoying being a projectionist and all that, and like the detail in it and all that, and just how much fun he was kind of having with it. And everybody looked like they were having fun with this movie. But this is one of my favorites from Toby. I just really enjoyed this movie more than I thought I would. This year I've been staying away from trailers a lot more. A, I feel like I don't have the time to watch them all anymore, and B, they kind of just show everything.
They're getting worse. Like they're just like,
I'm just tired of watching them. So going into them, I'd rather go in blind lately. But the trailers on this one never really showed too much, and honestly, it made it feel like it was like a 1960s film. Yeah. Instead, like seemed like it was earlier because of the racism part, but which is even scarier bringing that back up, because this was 1980. Obviously,
it was Margaret Thatcher. There's a lot of like a huge spike in racism when Margaret Thatcher was prime minister. I think it was prime minister. I don't know.
It just goes to show 1960s, 1980s. None of this is that far away, and none of it seemingly will never go away, sadly. And there's even a line in the movie that I kind of hit where Steven says, it happened to my mother, it's happening to me now, and it'll probably happen to my children. It's super fucked up, and sadly, it's probably true. I mean, not sadly. I mean, it is sadly, but not. Fuck, hold on.
We got him, boys. You're under arrest.
But
racism bad.
Sadly, it's true, because it's still happening 40 years after this movie takes place.
I'm not laughing at the fact that
just the fact that I stumbled my words like that, like an idiot. I had such a good run too, and then I fucked it up. No, it's a really good, really solid movie. The best way I could put it is it's such a small world, but there's such a bigger picture to it all but it never feels like it's trying to be a bigger picture. It's all just contained in like this small thing of just these everyday people. Yeah, they're not trying to go out and like start a revolution or anything. It's just their lives. Yeah, and that's really cool to me. Yeah.
Kind of to go back to the whole this like it captures characters that work in a movie theater perfectly. Everyone in this that works at the theater, I knew a version of them in the theater that we're gonna visit by the cops here.
There's a Popo.
Yeah, Popo, and so there's a I just want to make sure
We're badass as fuck.
probably just make sure we're not banging.
Yeah.
But so everyone that works at the theater here, I knew a version of that person. Going back to Toby Jones as the projectionist. When I started at the movie theater in 2005, there was a projectionist there named Eric who would, in his free time, smoke a pipe up on the balcony that they have on the outside of the theater specifically for projectionists to get air without having to come down. And just, you know, him being able to socialize with a bunch of teenagers while smoking a pipe and just like waxing poetic about his life and everything. I hope that every other job has scenarios like that, because it's something that I feel like everyone could benefit from, just meeting so many different people from different walks of life, and this just drew me back to it.
There's something about working at a movie theater. It literally brings everybody in. Everybody loves movies.
Yeah.
Like, you can go work at Kmart or Walmart or Target, and
They're just doing it for money.
they're all there. You know what they're there for.
Yeah.
But everybody here has one primary reason why they're there. They love movies.
Yeah.
And
There's no reason to work at a movie theater unless you like movies,
Yeah.
because it's honestly a thankless, shitty job, but still somehow the best job I've ever had.
yeah.
And I know that's a cliche, but it
And
really is.
Sam Mendes, he does a great job of showing
Yeah.
just that. It's really nice to see just from people who work at a movie theater and seeing that.
So, like, you said that you don't like the phrase love letter. I'm assuming you think
It's
'cause
just
it's overused.
It's just overused.
Yes. I think this is the kind of movie it should be reserved for, because it absolutely is a love letter.
'Cause
And
it's just like every other reviewer now just uses that, or just even
yes,
artists
yeah.
themselves. They're like, oh, it's just I wanted this to be a love letter. Like, I get that. That's what your movie is for. You don't need to say love letter. But I don't know. It's just
and especially in the same year that The Fabelmans came out, which was supposed to be Steven Spielberg's love letter to you know, becoming a filmmaker. This is not a review of The Fabelmans. I have my issues with that. Most people are gonna love that movie. I'm glad that people are loving that movie, but this is a better love letter
This is a much.
to
I didn't even watch it. I can already say.
yeah,
It is. Yeah.
to film and just the movie theater going experience in general. Everything from talking about the science of projection to the feeling you get to the coming together as a community. It's just a beautiful film overall, and the story of you know, an older, middle-aged, she's not older, woman dating a younger man and kind of college age, yes, legally aged, and just experiencing the racism through him. Obviously not directed at her, but she sees it for, if not the first time up close, and it's just exceeded what I wanted it to be, and it showed several movies that I love, including Being There, which I feel like is often overlooked. So yeah, that's all I really got to say.
It's a really solid film,
This is-
especially if you worked at a movie theater. We
Especially.
cannot say that part enough.
I think everyone should work at a movie theater because it's great,
Yeah.
but
It's also terrible.
it's also terrible, very terrible, but also
Yeah.
fantastic. Ratings?
Ratings. Man, I didn't even think. 4.5.
Oh, going up there with a 4.5.
We're uppercutting this bitch.
I was leaning a 4.
Yeah. I'm going all
Uh,
the way.
I feel like I'm gonna enjoy this the more I rewatch it. It feels like it's really gonna reward rewatches, so it might go up from there. But right now, I'm gonna give it a 4. Again, you keep exceeding my expectations with what you think, because when I'm watching a movie that I really like, I get self-conscious. I'm like, Glenn hates this right now, and then he ends up liking it more than me. At least
And we were at a different theater again. I'm like, I'm not comfortable in these seats
Yeah.
anymore.
But yeah, it's a great movie, especially if you love film, especially if you worked at a movie theater. And it's got the best movie watching scene since Cinema Paradiso.
Yeah.
So there's that.
There's that.
I'm not saying it's better than Cinema Paradiso. I'm just saying
Let's get that straight, goddammit.
since then. But yeah, go see Empire of Light. If you have seen Empire of Light, tell us what you thought down in the comments. Is Toby Jones just underrated, and is he, in fact, a projectionist? Because he seems like a projectionist.
The answer is yes. And yes.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And Eric, the projectionist, if you're still out there, I hope you are. You were old when I knew you, so hopefully
I hope
you're still alive.
enjoying that pipe.
I hope you're still enjoying that pipe. Yeah. Hit me up, Eric.
Please.
Please.
Please. I don't know you, but please.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Keep that motherfucker up.